The project shown in this video can be found in the textbook Technical Drawing 101 with AutoCAD, available from SDC Publications. In this video, I'm going to talk about the trim command. There are several ways to get into the trim command. One is to come to the Modify toolbar and select on the Trim option. Another is to go to the Modify panel of the ribbon and select the Trim icon. And the last way is to type TR, which is the alias for trim, and press enter. Alright, so I've typed TR and pressed enter, so now I'm in the command. And I'm prompted, it says next to my cursor, to select objects. And really what it wants me to select are cutting edges. And so I'm going to select this line and this line to be a cutting edge, and I'm going to select the top line and this line over here and this line here and this line here, and then I'm going to press enter. At that point it says select the object to trim. Now here's how this works. Let's say that I wanted to trim this circle on the outside. Well, since this horizontal line on the top and this vertical line were identified as cutting edges, if I pick on this circle, it trims all the way back around to there. Now let's say that I wanted to trim out the inside corner of the circle. Since this is a cutting edge and this is a cutting edge, if I pick here on the circle, it would trim there. Alright, now this vertical line that I have right here, if I were to pick up here, it would trim that line to this cutting edge. If I were to pick this line here, it would trim that line back to what I identified as a cutting edge. Alright, now I'm going to press escape, and I'm going to do a couple of undos and restore my screen to where it was. I'm going to show you a quicker way to use the trim command, and this is what I usually teach my students to do. I'm going to pick on the trim command, and at this point when it says select objects, remember what it wants are cutting edges. So instead of picking individual cutting edges, I'm just going to press enter. When you press enter, that makes everything a cutting edge. So I didn't select a cutting edge, I just pressed enter after I started the trim command. Now here's how it works. If I come up here to this line, it will trim back to the next thing that it intersects. If I come to this circle, it would trim there. If I come to the outside of a circle, it would trim over there. If I want to trim between these two lines, I pick here. That's because everything has been made a cutting edge. If I pick here, that's a cutting edge. If I pick here, I can trim that. Now, I want to show you something. This line here, if I pick it, I can't trim it because it's a line, but it ends here, so it's not crossed by a cutting edge. This line could not be trimmed. This line can't be trimmed. That circle can't be trimmed, and this can't trim because they don't cross anything anymore. Objects that still cross my cutting edges can be trimmed. And so these circles, which are still crossed, but this circle cannot be trimmed because it's been completely trimmed. Alright, so if I want to get rid of these lines, what I have to do is go to the erase command and select those lines. I can go through and pick them and then press enter and take those out. And that's how the trim command works.